after that.
Well, I'll be happy if more people are excited about doing it too, because it
Yeah, they
changes
will be.
lives.
Yep.
So we're gonna start a little bit early because, like I said, y'all, it's so you kick off in a little bit. So, and I do have kind of a lot of information to go through. Get on there. Hold on, I don't know why I'm getting that.
Did you send the email out to everybody?
No, but I sent a text. I didn't send an email this time.
Oh, okay.
And I put it, I put like a super, super short one in our private group, but like I said, Friday, not everyone's gonna show up on a Friday. You know how it is. Alrighty. Okay, guys, so we will just dive right in because we're gonna try to like really wrap this up pretty fast. First things we're gonna talk about is a little bit of housekeeping things because I've had questions. So I can answer them here and then people can catch the replays, all those things. People ask me about time, commitment. As I have shared before, not in this training, so maybe not that you've maybe even heard me say this before, but when I first started building my own business while I was working full time, working 46 hours a week. And what I did was usually about 30 minutes to an hour and a half in the morning. I tried to cut my lunch in half and I worked for 30 minutes. And then, as much as I could, I would get done at 5 and then I would work on my business from until 5:30. And that's what I did until I was able to take maternity leave. And then, you know, from there, after that, I put in my 3 months, like well, I was on maternity leave for 3 months and then I put in my notice. I put in my notice to quit after that. And then obviously, like, things freed up for me. So everybody's a little bit different. And then on the weekends, I would do it, just kind of as much as I could. Definitely still most always took off on Sundays, not always, but most always I did. And then maybe like a few hours on the weekend, something like that. So to each their own. It's kind of one of those scenarios where even if it takes you like, let's say let's say hypothetical, like worst case scenario, you don't grow your business to where you're hitting those 10K months like Aaliyah has, like others have, in 3 to 4 months, but it takes you 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's still worthy of it. Like, it took me 8 years to become a nurse practitioner. 8 years, all that time, and then all that investment, $200,000 of school loans, which I know not everybody gets their doctorate and goes to a private school and does things like that, which equates to, like, not any more income. But so there are easier ways of doing that, doing nurse practitioner, but it's still hard track versus, even though like worst case it took you like a couple of years, something like that. It's not really teach their own, and everyone's gonna have a different path. Obviously, there can never be guarantees, but one thing I can guarantee is that if nothing changes, then nothing changes. Like, you're not going to
Yeah.
find a way out. And you just really have to have that focus and that belief in that. So time, I recommend trying to get in a couple hours a day when you're first starting and staying consistent to that. I know that can be hard, which is why I also like one of the parts of the program is helping people time hack. So I legitimately took my day down from 60 to 40 hours. And I haven't shared any testimonies on that, but I have a ton of testimonies on that. That it is like true good time hacking stuff. It's not just get organized. I mean, it's like mind hacking your life and everything. So we do have that included in it. Somebody asked me, and I'll go ahead, like, I'll share this. How does this compare to, and they said like another, I'm going to be very transparent with this. So I'm not going to say the other person's name, kind of a competitor, because I don't want to bash anybody, if that's fair. If people want to know the specific that I'm talking about, you can ask me in private, but I don't want to record and then share and blast somebody else. They asked me, how does your program compare to so and so's program? And I will tell you that one thing, I'm not a nurse practitioner trying to pretend like I am a nurse or that I relate to nurses or like I am that, right? Like, I'm not pretending to be something that I'm not. Our testimonies are 100% transparent. What we talk about is 100% transparent. We do not give you one of those crazy guarantees that you're going to make $100,000 in 5 months. Why do I not do that? Because I'm going to be real with you. If you talk to those individuals who make those guarantees, it is very slighted. You have to do a ton of work and document it and prove it, and then do all of these hoops and loops that you have to jump through and prove that you did that. And it's always like you cannot, it's like it's usually unachievable. And then if you did all of that and you didn't hit, then they give you your money back, right? But nobody ever does that, can't ever do that. So no, I don't make those crazy claims like that. You can, but I'm always transparent. I'm always real with people. So we're real, we're honest, we're dual board certified. So you'll get, if you are integrative, you will get FM or FIM, I'm sorry, FIMP behind your name. And then you'll also get the option to be able to sit for the BC FNP or the BC functional medical coach. So you have the option for those. You can also go on, but this is because our program is certified and is fully accredited. So not only do you get the dual board certification if you want, you can also sit and get a GIA license. So specific for nurses and nurse practitioners, this is important because you have to be very careful from a legal standpoint of not appearing that you are crossing those lines that you might be practicing in a state that you don't have a license in. The GIA license, so you can sit for that after hours or apply for it and hold that license because our program is completely accredited. You can have that license and it gives you the legal right to be able to help people in a holistic, natural, which functional medicine fits into way across state lines. So it's almost like you went back to school and got another degree. It's not another degree, but it is an actual license. It's not just a board certification. It's not just, the CE hours. You do also get 48 contact hours. Those are accredited through the holistic branch of the ANCC. So what that means is that, if you're like one of my MDs, DO, something like that, the contact hours aren't really going to help you there. But if you are a nurse or a nurse practitioner, then you can use those to get your the accreditation that you have to have not accreditation, but the hours that we have to have every 5 years or 2 years, depending on which, your state board versus your state license, your national license. So there's that. And then also we have the software included. Nobody else offers that. You will pay, no matter who else you go with, you will pay an extra $3,000 to $4,000 for that software, right? We also have the mastermind that's included. So you'll be meeting with us down in Dallas. Woo, 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 woo. I'm not sure about the pricing on the GIA license. It is third party. It's not through us. Like our program is just accredited through it. It's not terribly expensive, but I want to say that it's in like the few $100 range, something like that. Okay, so great question. You would be, after that time, in the next few months, 6 months, something like that, whenever you finish our course, that you'd be able to sit for that. So we have that. And then also like the weekly and the business training. And then we also have the LEA systems that nobody else that I can see in this niche does this, or even I think knows about it. Like that's why it works really good, is because we have the LEA system. I took that from other markets and I modified it specifically for health practitioners. So, and I know this because I don't see the competition in the functional medicine world doing this. IFM is a fantastic program. I think they do also have contact hours. They take 2 years to get through, and it does not change your license. And you can give them about an extra $10,000 more than what you'd give me. And you wouldn't get the dual board certification or the coaching, the business coaching. You'll get any business coaching, anything like that.
Robin said, can you practice worldwide?
Yes, if you're doing a model where you are doing courses. So undeniably, and that's another reason why like nobody has to do the passive income systems. Like you don't have to do that. I teach that to everybody and I encourage it. And that's, having your courses set up where people can enroll passively. You can 100% have people outside of the United States. Now, so I mean, that opens you up to tons of individuals. You can even theoretically take your courses and have them translate. There's AI that'll do it now and translate it into a different language for you.
My
So you can
goodness.
do all of that. It just kind of depends. So if you want to give a little bit more on what your goals are, I can help you with that. But as far as, I mean, the GEO license that's across the nation. And as far as like coaching and stuff like that, I have no idea about coaching outside of the United States. So you can still build a practice in markets outside of that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you like one of the ways that you can find high ticket buyers, niche them down. And some of those are going to be in other geographical areas, but that is going to be limited to your courses and stuff like that. Okay. Cool. Okay. I think there's the time. Somebody asked about the comparison of other programs, and I'm just biased. Like I feel like we're the best out there. Like I literally put
Because it
together
really is.
time. Like
It
I put
really
it
is.
like you hit it's legitimate. Like I'm not lying to y'all. We're about to get into I just didn't want to forget about these things because I had questions yesterday. So we're gonna get into real deal stuff. I promise y'all. Y'all did not just jump on here to hear about my program. But I mean, I have $70,000 invested in high-end coaches that I'm matriculous at like documenting what I learned and then putting it in the course. So it's also like, I mean, you're getting like, you just get like, give me a time warp. Somebody say time warp. I'm giving you a time warp.
Mhm.
You don't have to go through all the pain that I did to figure this out and waste your time and the frustration. And it's so much easier. I was telling my team the other day, like I was showing them how to hook up their domains and do this stuff. And I was like, all you do is you copy these two little numbers. The software is so much easier than what I had when I first started. I was like, you young children, you don't even know what you got. Like, I mean, just seriously, it's so much easier now. But competition's gonna get you if you don't get out there first. So talking about competition and talking about our program. So let's jump into that. Drop in the chat if you have more questions or anything like that. I'd be happy to answer them, but we're going to go today. Who here actually did their homework and started looking at other like findings? Remember I told you that you want to go where the money flows, meaning finding opportunities that people are buying offers and like going and finding offers that you can model. Who did their homework? Who's done that so far? Do we have any action takers in the house? Robin says, yay, so good to be here. Absolutely. Whoop, whoop. Okay. I'm just going to take that as y'all are too busy to be able to put in the chat that you did. Because I know you did it. I know you're going to do it. Because action takers are money makers, and you are money makers up in here. Whenever you do, if you have not. She said, I worked on my dream. Fantastic. That is it. That's what's up, Robin. Go, girl, go. Whenever you start doing that, I'm kind of glad that maybe you haven't quite done that yet, because whenever you start doing your research, your market research, see, Robin's showing me something, but I can't tell what it is. Go ahead, unmute yourself. Tell me, go ahead and just tell me. It's not focusing.
I found this today at the dollar
Awesome.
store in the clearance aisle, 50% off.
There's a
I got a
sign.
great bargain.
The
That
Lord is lowering the pressure, the threshold for you. He's like, okay, fine, come
I'll
on,
make
come on,
I'll make a way for you.
go team, go. I love it.
Anyway, I just had to share that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing. I love that. It's a lot more fun. We have some talk back church. Okay. I love it. But whenever you start doing your research, you're probably going to end up doing what I did. Maybe not. But when I first started researching what I was going to do, and my coach like helped me build it out, and they were like, this is like, I mean, she does what I do for other people now. We had this awesome plan. She's like, okay, now this is what you have to do, right? And I go and I do my research, and I'm researching other programs. I'm doing that. I'm trying to like see like, where the money's flowing already. And I started to feel like I was walking through the shadow of death. I started to get depressed. I started to get overwhelmed. I started feeling like, one, I can't do this. Look how far ahead everybody is. Two, everybody else is already doing this. It's already saturated. And then Facebook ads do what Facebook ads do best. And it started targeting me for all of these other offers that were very similar to what I was just researching. Because it's like, oh, you must be wanting to buy this. No, I'm not wanting to know how many people are competing in my market for anxiety and depression. I did not want to know that. I did, but I didn't, right? And I started to get overwhelmed. Like I said, it was like walking through the shadow of the valley of death. And I just felt defeated. And then I picked myself back up. And I remember my coach had already told me that that's going to happen and that it's a good thing. You do not want. So that leads us to our first thing that most people mess up on when they're building out their high ticket offer. And it's that they build something that the market is not already yet buying. So number one, go where the money's flowing. Go where the money flows. Don't try to recreate the wheel. And remember that you are going to have your own special sauce there. And as a matter of fact, the really awesome, cool thing is that your competition will end up starting to send you leads. That competitor that person asked about, ironically, I've had several people join. The last several that have joined, they came to me passively after having looked through that person's program and then coming and finding me. Your competition will actually help you drive traffic, and I probably help drive them traffic. Totally cool, right? Like, it is a world of abundance. So it is actually a good thing, because whenever you're on something that's trending, you will also get pushed out there, whether you're working with the algorithm or you're not. It will still pull energy towards you, right? So that is the first thing that I want y'all to think about when you're doing that. The second thing is not, or the second thing that people mess up on is that they don't start with building their high ticket at least in mind. Kind of akin to that, another thing that people mess up on is that they start by building with their high ticket first. Both are going to fail. If you do not have your value ladder in place where you know that, hey, like the next step that they're going to need is X, Y, and Z thing, and then building them up to your full program, you're going to lose them. Why do I say that? Because one reason is that some people are literally, like the high ticket buyers that you want to attract are literally there looking to get the results. They're not there looking to kick tires. It's like if you were to show up at a Rolls-Royce dealership and you're like, all right, like I have freed myself from practice and I have donated millions of dollars overseas, and now I'm gonna buy myself my Rolls-Royce. I don't even know what Rolls-Royce looks like, but we're just gonna say that, right? I know they're fancy cars. And you walk into the dealership and you're like, you know what I'm here for. And they're like, we totally know what you're here for. You want this Rolls-Royce mug. And you're like, no, like that's not what I'm here for. Did not drive all the way over here to this dealership to buy a mug from you. And they're like, oh, cool. Okay, I got you. How about this keychain? You're like, no, like really, like you're kind of annoying me at this point. I really just want to get out of here. I want my car. I'm gonna be driving my car. So oftentimes we're like giving people all of these little bitty things, giving these little bitty things to them that they're not even wanting. Like they're not wanting to mess around. Has anyone else ever felt that way? And once you become a high ticket buyer, you will start attracting this more often and you will have this mindset. Like money loves speed. Results love speed. I don't like messing around. with like wasting my time. Matter of fact, it is the most annoying thing in the world to me is wasting my time. And most of it, like I have not bought, like I have skipped several times. Like I will not buy a book because I know like I will find a book that somebody has written, and then I will search this person online and I'll go find their high ticket and I'll go buy their high ticket because I don't want to spend all that time reading their book. Like I just want the results of what I'm looking for. And if you're there with that for them, then that is the client that you're going to attract. That's the client you're going to serve. Now, the other caveat to that is you can't just jump up and just say, like some coaches will literally just say, just raise your prices. And I don't know, I'm like, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't at least try that. Like go for it, right? Like you can try it, you can go for it, but it'll tell you more often than not, people get discouraged because they don't have the system leading up to it first. So that's 3. That's your third thing, right? So 2 is not having a high ticket, but 3 is not having the system that leads up to it. So we have like tons and tons and tons of modules on this in the program, but I'm gonna do my best to try to like summarize it really quickly. Your LEA system is a series of usually videos. You can do it a different way, but it's usually videos that helps your clients go from being the individual who is considering changing, like they're in the contemplation phase of change, and ascending them up into the I need to change it now. You do that through stories, through sharing life experiences, whether it's personal or it is adjacent, like you've had like clients go through this or whatever it is. You share those experiences and you show people the full pain that they're living in. So we've trained on this like earlier in the week because I was talking about like you have to hit their pain points. That's what everybody messes up on is they're like, well, you're going to get like, 16 hours with me and you're going to get this, that, and you're going to get, a keychain and you're going to get a mug and you're going to get recipes and they're like, they really just want their pain gone. Like they really just want their pain gone. So write this down. They want the payoff, not the pieces. But you've got to take them through that system that doesn't just focus on the pieces, but helps them through those pain points, paints a picture for them, this beautiful, glorious picture of how it's going to be after you help them. And you show them why this is imminently urgent in their life right now. Functional medicine is also really great for that because oftentimes we get stuck in this. I was thinking about this earlier today. Let's see if I can remember the example I was thinking. I don't know if I can. Oh, I know what it is. So this morning, what was I doing? I think I was taking out the trash. I think I was taking out some trash, like trash day. And I was I was changing my bunny's litter pans. That's what I was doing. I was taking that out and I walked by the side of our house and there was like all these like weeds and plants grown into the trim around the flower, it's not flower bed, but the bushes and stuff. And like we have all this like shrubbery and whatnot. And I was like, how did this happen? It is like a mess. Or have you ever walked in your house and you're like, whoa, this is a mess? Or the converse, you've cleaned it and you're like, man, I didn't even do that much. And you're like, wow, that was really bad. I didn't realize how bad it was. Anyone ever felt that way? We do that in our life, in our health. We're sitting there in the worst shape of our life. We even do this as providers, like our patients do it, but we also do it. Running chart to chart, running door to door, stressed out, like constantly thinking about work, feeling like this is how life is supposed to be. And then your patients are doing the same thing in their own life. They are short of breath walking up the stairs. They're just a few years away from getting another chronic diagnosis added to them. They're on a new medication, a second medication, a third medication, and they're just like, it's totally cool, right? We put ourselves into this complacency one, because life is busy, but 2, because we just like things get a little bit worse and a little bit worse. Like that whole analogy of the water and the frog heating it up until it's actually not true. The frogs will jump out. So if you want to know, like it's a cool little analogy. And it does actually happen in life, but the frog will jump out before it becomes boiling. That's actually kind of a false thing. But it is true in our life that we do that. But then we're sitting there boiling and we will just sit in the hot pan and boil. Your job is to help your clients, your future clients, see this is not cool. This is not okay. You can make this change and you need to make this change. Functional medicine is beautiful because if y'all remember from the very beginning, I told you that functional medicine is the ultimate leverage. You can show people and teach them, okay? You can write this down too. You teach them the why, not the how, right? That's how you don't oversell them. And then they don't go into your full programs. You teach them why this is a big deal. Meaning that I know that like you're kind of okay with your anxiety being bad and you're coping okay, like you're shoving it down, you're being okay. But whatever that inflammation is causing you to get worse, especially if somebody has a new diagnosis for autoimmune. Like your risk of developing cancer is so much higher. You have like more than one thing going on, and that toxicity in your body is just going to get worse. It will compound over time. And showing people that through, like I said, your series of videos or your series of emails or whatever your, however you want to have yours built out. Most often it's in the form of videos. You take them through that. And you do it in a way where they're not feeling like being lectured, but they're being related to. Okay. So yes, one of the biggest mistakes people have is that they don't have a high ticket. But the other thing that they mess up on is that they don't have the structure to lead people up before. So if you've ever tried, I share this because if you've ever tried to sell a high ticket and it's just totally botched, like that's probably why. You didn't have that system in place beforehand. That helps people. So Robin says, I can totally relate. Cool. The
So Laura,
next, yeah, go girl.
well, I was thinking about what you're saying about the frog and the water and the way I see it affecting me with, like chronic illness and the inflammation, all those things. It's kind of like the waves at the beach on the seashore and how they'll just, continually, even if it's a nice soft one, doesn't have to be harsh. It could just be repeatedly keeps coming in and going out and coming in. And you just don't realize how that's ebbing, and it's ebbing away at your life and you are not even aware. So it's so important to be observant and just, because we are so busy, we're so stressed out, to be able to just stop and look and see the reality of it, and then just see beyond to what life can really be like without that continual erosion in your health.
Round of applause. Y'all drop some fire in the chat. That was so good. And Robin, you just probably accidentally just build out one part of your Leah system. So something like that is what you'll add in there. And see, like I felt totally related to, I did not feel overcome with guilt. Like that was beautiful. I love that. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to be borrowing that. I'm going to be modeling you, Robin. I love it. Woo, woo, woo. So good. So good. The next thing that people, and one more thing that I want to go back to on not having a high ticket offer, it's also just not deciding. Oh, I wish so bad that I had like a magic wand where everybody, or like a magic spell, everyone under the sound of my voice, you go, you just do it. The thing that people don't do is that they have all these really great ideas and all these great things. And one thing is that means that you were meant to be an entrepreneur. You are never going to get rid of that. It will live within you and you will die with it and it will kill you unless you just go for it. Like, I promise you, it does not ever go away. For the longest time, I was like, Lauren, just be happy with what you're doing. Just be happy with what you're doing. It won't ever go away. If you have that mind, it's like constantly, but it's a double-edged sword because you have all these really great ideas on how you can help the world, but then you get distracted easy. And then you don't decide what you're actually going to do. You pick, and that's where, especially like speaking from, I don't know, maybe this isn't true, but I feel there's no science to back this up, but I think women tend to be a little bit more emotional in their decisions when it comes to business. And you've got to look at the data, not the drama. What are people wanting? What do I have a good hold on? Or can I learn, right? So many times I have people ask me questions like, oh, can you help me with this? I'm like, I have no idea how to do that. I didn't say that to them, but I was like, sure. And I went and I researched and I figured it out. And I learned really fast and I came back and I gave it to them, right? But you have to decide and do it and go for it and stick with it and literally see it through, like go for it. So not deciding is another problem. And I think I've given y'all bonus ones. Like I think we may already be at 5 or 6. The next one is not making more offers. And I mean this in 2 different ways. People will do something one time and they'll be like, it didn't work. Darn it. I'm not meant to do this. Oh, my camera is like, it moves on its own. I feel like it's like cutting off my face. They'll make one offer and then nobody will ever hear from you again. Probably, most likely, not always. You can word things really awesome sauce to get people to react better. Like there's strategy in that. Sometimes you're gonna do something one time and no takers, no buyers, right? You've got to make more offers. I mean that, and that maybe you have to find like the strategy that I shared with you all yesterday, where you can change your same offer to different audiences, find a different audience. Or you can change your offer altogether. Like one of our individuals I was coaching yesterday, she had different people asking her for different things. I was like, well then, like make different offers and whoever buys the most, like start running with that. Just make offers. Don't make it complicated. Don't put your own mind into it. When nobody purchases, look at the data, not the drama. It's a science, the same as medicine is a science. You just literally have to find what that combination is for your audience to make it happen. But you have to keep on, you have to word it right, right? Like you have to, the first time that I launched, I was so excited. Oh, okay. And here's my next thing. Oh, do not do this. This is a bonus one. I can't believe I didn't write this down before. Do not. Everybody put your hand up in the air that's, that can, and repeat after me. I will not build anything before somebody buys it from me. That is what everybody wants to do. That's what I did. I spent, I think, like 2 years writing my first book. Did not go anywhere. Nobody asked for it, but I put all that time into it. The first successful program that I did that was like actually a lot of people bought, I had taken them through that system. And then I kind of asked them as I went, like what they want. I didn't have anything built yet. At the end of it, I was like, how does this sound? Because they told me that's what they wanted. And guess what? What happened? They bought from me. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can actually do this. Because I'm going to tell you right now, like for the longest time, I felt like there is some kind of like just negative energy thing that I have that nobody wants to purchase from me. And I'm like, I come off weird and scammy or whatever it is. I don't know. Like I had all these like negative beliefs. And then the first time I followed a system, I was like, it isn't me. It wasn't me. Like I just didn't know what the heck I was doing yet. So have a strategy, but then make offers, guys. Look at the data, not the drama. The land of imperfect action is what we live in. If you take action, This one's a little bit technical and we probably don't have time to get into it too much. Maybe we'll do a bonus day if you'll ask. We don't have time to get into this today though. But I'm going to give this to you. It's very important. Having the right VSL, video sales letter. So I was listening to somebody today and they went straight into, it wasn't actually on a video. It wasn't. So video sales letter. Let me slow this down because y'all may not even know what this is. Video sales letter is on, like you're on a website and then there's somebody talking to you about a product. Okay. That's the video sales letter. They have really high conversions when you do them right. And they really screw everything up if you do them wrong. And this wasn't actually, this person was not on a video sales letter, but they were pitching themselves and they started talking about all of the things and not all of the pain. There is a whole strategy for that. But the big part is focusing on their what? Yep. I see. I can read some lips here. Absolutely. So having a VSL the right way. And then the last thing that I want to share with you all from the technical side is that people don't make it fun. Like, have fun with it. And this isn't the last thing. I'm going to add one more. Add one more. Make it fun. I always think, like, how can I have more fun? Like, I laugh at myself when I'm talking to y'all. I don't know. You probably laugh at me more than with me. That's okay. I think it makes it more fun. I don't like being boring. I don't like being bored. So I try not, while I'm not a comedian, I try to make things fun. Like, how can you get just like really super passionate about things? And what was the last thing? There's one more that came to my head. And I was like, what is the other thing? Oh, it left me. Let's see here. Not making it fun. Taking it too serious. I don't know. Maybe I'll think of the other one here in a little bit. Oh, thank you, Robin. So I'm looking for compliments. That's all it is. So while I try to think of that last thing, I was like, there's one more thing I wanted to share with y'all. Not taking yourself too serious, having fun with it. While I try to think of that last one, do y'all have any questions, comments, takeaways? Give me some talk back, church. What about you, Miss Aaliyah? When you first started, you're in the game, you're a leader these days. What would you say the biggest thing if you were to give an awesome sauce piece of advice? What would you say about building high tickets that you wish you would have known sooner? Like one thing, one awesome thing that you wish you would have known.
Probably, honestly, what you said. I wish I hadn't, because I did build mine out before anybody asked for it. And that was really hard to do. So now I'm going back and I'm having to basically redo it all, because now I have people who are actually asking me certain things. So I have to go back and like add all that, and I should have done that from the beginning. I guess I should have been more observant to what people were asking, even just on Facebook, because you'll see people just randomly post stuff or ask a question regarding health on Facebook. And that's a really good time to say, okay, well, they're interested in that topic. Yep. There's 30 comments. I can add that to my program, even if they didn't ask me directly. Like, it's just it's on the feed. People are interested, so I'm gonna add that to my program.
Yeah.
Because I did build my program out first, and I should have waited. So I agree completely with the value ladder. That has helped me tremendously. That was a game changer for me.
Yeah, it is. And it's some things are really, really simple, and you don't you don't realize like how important those things are to stop. And I think all of us start with building our own things and then
Yeah.
it ends up flopping. Robin asked, how do you get an audience? We have several different strategies. You'll start out, so yeah, value ladder is, ladder,
Ladder.
question. Yep.
I was getting
Ladder,
ready
like you're climbing a ladder. And that's what, so we definitely we have 2 minutes left on someone getting to gut health and all that. Oh, and I wanted to share some bonuses too that I forgot to tell y'all about. Boop, boop, boop. For those of us who are going to be in Dallas, getting all the goods in, VIPs.
I'm so excited.
VIP badges came
I'm so
in.
excited.
You're gonna get the VIP dinner. Got some VIPs in the house. Building an audience, so that will you'll start with what we call organic. So there's 2 kinds of traffic. There's organic and then there's paid. You'll start with organic because unless you have millions of, or at least tens of thousands of dollars to spend on organic and figuring out your offer and figuring all that out, you will start with organic. A lot of people try to jump straight to like paid, and that's just not the way to go. This is like a whole nother topic all in itself. But organic is, to give a kind of a real short, kind of hopefully quality answer for you. Organic is either social media, it is the public, it is other people's audiences, it is I mean, there's simple ways too, but like sometimes we kind of forget about like just talking to people, right? Just running into people, asking people questions. But you never want to build anything that people aren't asking for first. So organic and then paid is obviously like all the ads that we see everywhere blowing up. And there are some platforms that are less competitive to do paid ads on, but most people use Instagram or Facebook. They're the most common ones that you do. But you can go to other platforms, other websites and stuff like that and also do paid. But you want to have a converting offer first before you ever do that because you will 100% lose your lunch on it. And then the Robin says bonus day. Anyone else? You'll let me know. The value ladder. So that's where you start out, and there's strategy for building it, but you'll start out with something free, okay, recipes can be good. Recipes can be good. As a matter of fact, I totally just opted into somebody's the other day because I looked at their recipes. It was only us. I was like, I want that girl's recipes, actually. She was like, did you comment just to be nice? Or, to get my recipe? I was like, both.
Like, you really want the recipe, or did
One
you?
thing I do
trying to help
support
you?
my people. So if I see like you like put something on there, and I'm like, I will help boost your stuff, right? But also I was like, no, I actually kind of want your stuff. Give it to me. But it was both. But recipes can actually be really good. But there's also sometimes like different ways that you can do that. Quizzes are really fun, especially when you like use it in the right psychological path. It's like people like, oh, this is what I need. So that's a really good bonus one. But you'll start with free, and then you usually have 27 to 47, and then you'll have your 99 to 497 range, and you may have more than one in that range. And then usually you're like 2,500, your mid, that's what we call mid ticket. Around the 2,500 is a mid ticket, and then your high ticket is around your 6,500. And you don't ever want it to be like, this is like, okay, one more thing I'll give on this like value ladder stuff, because this is important stuff. And we're going to talk about gut brain health, and then we're going to kick off for OU. You don't want it to be like, it isn't like your front end free is the recipe. But wait, if you spend $47, you not only get the recipe, you also get this X, Y, and Z thing, right? And then this X, Y, and Z thing is built into your $250. Don't ever make people feel like, I could have got a better deal. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be like separate, and it's got to help people up to the next tier. Like you want it to be where like it communicates. That's why I said at the very beginning, you might have people who jump straight into your high ticket and still end up staying in your low ticket. But it's your value ladder that makes sense, and you need to build it out so it makes sense for your business, because otherwise your business will be running you. That's why I gave you all the super awesome sauce tip of having that monthly subscription. So then people can jump around, right? They may be in your high ticket, but then they can go back down to the low ticket. So you can have continuity. So that's when you're looking at the average cost of each, or not cost, but the average the amount that each like client is worth in your value ladder. And you know that because you have your value ladder. That's not the right language. I can't think of the terminology, which I guess it doesn't really matter too much what the terminology is, but because there's an actual, like in marketing world, there's an actual one. But wait, there's a little more. Yeah. But wait, there's more. Okay. Speaking of more, okay, so the bonuses, so for those who do join Passion to Profit, where are they at? Okay. I told y'all that I would close your high ticket for you. A lot of people are like terrified of launch. Like I've had so many, this is why I did this. I've had so many people have like a really great launch, and they gave all this incredible value, and they got tons of awesome testimonies from it. And then I was like, okay, so what happened whenever you like pitched them and gave your offer? They're like, I didn't do it. I was like, what? So that's why I've decided that, like, for those of you who want me to, I will do that for you. Host it for you, and then we'll get some money for you. Oh, the contracts. So this is something that even like my Passion Profit people do not have right now, but they will. Having the contracts for, because I have it, I just haven't, I mean, it's not that I hold back on it, I just never thought about giving it to y'all because I didn't realize how interested people are going to be about doing the event consulting. So the strategy for going to influencers and saying, like, I will be your event consultant, teaching you how to do their event. And then, oh my gosh, y'all, there's so much money in this. And you can find people that complement your functional medicine program, right? Like there's different ways you can do this. But I'll give you that contract for how, like that contract that you give the influencer to be able to do that. That is like thousands of dollars in lawyer fees to get that stuff built out because it's a pretty new thing, right? Like there's not, I only know of one other person doing this. Okay. And it was because I went to a mastermind and I learned that they were doing it. I was like, oh, you're doing what? The what? That's awesome. I can do that too. So now I can teach y'all how to do that. Okay. So you're going to learn how to do the event consulting. You're going to learn, or you're going to get the actual contract that I have for the event consulting. Oh, I'm going to give you the link to one of my funders so then you can have funders yourself for your high ticket programs. So when I first started, I did not have funders, and it was, I mean, you're still going to find people, but it is a lot easier whenever you have a funder to back, because some people like legitimately want to do this, but they're like, I need that like financing support. So you can have that for other people, right? So that you can offer your, Leah, did your last one, did they use the funding or no, they paid cash, didn't they? They paid cash. That's right. Yeah. But you all will get that to where so I'll give you that referral to the funder. Hold your high ticket. One things that we're probably going to build out in the mastermind, I'm going to give you my exact script and my exact, like for my Leah system for closing high ticket and healthcare. So I didn't get into this, but there's like bits that I teach. And they are they're like stories that you can teach people, and it helps them have a transformation in their own identity to where they know that they can do this and they want to do this. My done for you funnel that I have, like, I mean, literally millions of dollars have been closed in this funnel. It's been like reused and different. By reused, I mean not like washed and dried out. I mean like the order sequence and everything of it. So all of that also. So either but you just have to at least have a meeting, right? So we're going to get into gut health here in a minute. But let me get that pulled up, the link here. Or not the link, the for our trainings. Let me get this off of here. woo. Leah says excited for that contract. Yeah, girl. Like, big days are coming. Like, we're leaving the 4-figure days and we go into 5-figure days.
Yes, yes. Big plans with that actually. So I'm really excited about that.
4-figure days make us happy, but we're cool with some 5-figure days, right? Or
Yeah.
even 6-figure days.
Yeah.
Like 100%. And like as you like connect with people and your like market grows and the people that you like, become surrounded with grows, that grows significantly. Like, I mean, I was blown away whenever I haven't had a completely 6-figure day yet, but I've gotten really close. I'm like, I want to be able to just say that, but I'm like, it's like really close, but not there. But like, God.
Still amazing though, and it's almost unfathomable.
I know, but whenever you look at how much like so one of my coaches helped Russell Brunson, who's semi-famous. She helped him close an $18 million day. Craziness, right? Because his circle of people are like next level, right? Yeah, it was crazy. It was $1 million offer.
Unreal.
And
Yeah.
like, I am not going to stand here and say that that's what I'm promising you all. Okay. I'm hundreds of thousands of dollars less to work with than him. I'm not promising you that yet. I'm not there yet. But like, that's just like, I want y'all to like break your brain for a minute and like realize the abundance that's available. Like whenever I bought that $10,000 weekend, it wasn't a vacation. We were sitting in this like not pretty, just like area, right? It was just being able to rub shoulders with people who were making a lot of money, doing incredible things, and learn things from them. Part of the reason why I did that is so I could feel the feeling that $10,000 was not that much money, and that I could make that back. And guess what? I had my first $20,000 day after that. It is. Oh, one thing I wanted to recommend to y'all, if you haven't done it, I wanted to teach from it, but it's too late. We can't teach from it. But we probably will maybe going forward. I think everyone should buy this book. It is a really good book. Happy Pocket Full of Money, Infinite Wealth and Abundance is here now. Now, by no means are we saying that like we worship money or anything like that. But whenever you break the chains from it, it carries so much less power. It's wild. It's the most inverse thing that you would ever expect. Because you aren't like you focus on money a lot less whenever you're not focused on having to pay the next bill. When you're like, yeah, Lannis a post title, sure thing. A happy, ooh, okay, I can't type. Pocket full of money. David Gandy. Gandhi is his last name. Guess I'm saying that right. I was gonna read over it again. I feel like we should probably like do that as a study in our group. Do we have book studies? We've done Bible studies before. And I'll be honest, everyone like people were like showing up like fire at first, and then no one showed up at the Bible studies after a while. It was like fire. Magnify the Lord and everything else becomes smaller. Yeah, definitely true. Definitely true. 100%. 100%. Okay, so let's talk gut health. Who wants to talk gut health? Robin's down for some Bible study. I am too. I just bought a new one called Experiencing God. This is my next one. I always am in a new book. Always. I'm always in tons of new books. Okay, let me get my slides pulled up. And we might miss kickoff, but that'll be okay. Are y'all enjoying this? Is this helping y'all? Unmute for a second. Let me know. Drop in the chat. Like, is this helpful to y'all?
Yes, lots of fun, enjoying myself, and just love
Awesome.
hanging out with
Oh, I love having you. Love
you.
hanging out with y'all too. Yeah, and be honest, right? If someone's like, hey, this part was really boring, please tell me so I can serve y'all better next time. So I can serve the next people, like pay it forward to others. You know what I'm saying? Please, please, please. Because honest to goodness, like that's what I want to do. So I've been going through my slides and kind of reorganizing these. We went through those. I know we've kind of been jumping around, and then I also changed things up. Let's close it hot with talking about, have we talked about MTHFR in this one yet, in this series?
No, because I was excited about learning about that.
Okay, cool. Well, let's do that. Yeah, no, it is a really, really good one. And it
Yeah.
is,
I love talking about that. It's probably one of my favorites.
yeah. And it is very, it's very complicated. And we're not going to try to get too complicated, but cool. Let's do this. Okay. Okay. So the big thing about MTHFR, like the underlying issue with it, is that you're not able to absorb the B12, right? So a lot of people, this drives me crazy. How many of you know and see whenever especially, I'm just going to say it, like physicians tend to do this, especially like old school physicians. They'll be like, just take away those vitamins. They don't make a difference. And here's one thing. Okay. I'm going to get on a soapbox for a minute before we start teaching, because they're actually right. In a lot of ways, they're actually right, but not in the full way. They're actually right in that a vitamin isn't going to work because if you do not have either the right pathways or you have a gut that sucks, you're not going to absorb it. If you have other deficiencies, like co-deficiencies, that vitamin is not going to work. That supplement is not going to work if you have other things that are broke down. That's why, like, everyone says, but what's the step-by-step in functional medicine? Like, there isn't a step-by-step because multiple people have multiple etiologies to the same, or to this, like, different root causes to the same issue. There's definitely like trends in that. Most often there are some trends in that, like autoimmune always has estrogen dominant portion of it, even in males. There are certain trends, right? Like IBS is always a dysbiosis, like that's always playing a factor in things. I mean, there are certain things that that you're always going to do a GI map on someone with IBS, or you're always going to be looking at cortisol and those kind of things in autoimmune, but you might also be looking at metal toxicity, or you might be looking at a parasite. I've seen autoimmune caused by metal toxicity, and I've seen it caused by, and how do I know that it caused it? Because whenever we fixed the friggin' chicken problem, they got better. Not everybody gets 100% better, but people get a lot better. And a lot of the times in functional medicine, you can't just put them on this vitamin and then they just get better. Some people, yes. Like if an individual, if that is their only problem, is that they have like niacin deficiency. If that is the only problem causing that, then they will get better. And it's things like pellagra that this is something we don't even deal with anymore. And, we have supplementation and stuff in food that's not usually a natural thing. So it's not usually in healthy foods, but it is better than everyone having pellagra. And this used to be known by the 4 Ds, which is dermatitis, dementia, diarrhea, and death. The thing that I want you to see and like recognize in this right here, dermatitis and diarrhea. Why would that even have the same thing? If you're looking at this from a conventional medicine model, that doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Like the same thing can cause several different, or the same etiology can cause several different symptoms that are not related to the same group, right? And death. Death was the last one because a lot of people are dying from it. The cure was discovered by Dr. Joseph Goldberg and a group of inmates. Who simply, all they did at that time, because it wasn't like they were just like, oh, let's go to, I can't think of, why cannot think of a supplement store? I don't know. Purex or Pure, whatever. And buy B12 or D3. B3, vitamin B3. I'm gonna mess it all up. Niacin, right? So they simply included more meat and vegetables into their diet. And then people stopped dying from it. Like, what the what? Okay, I don't know why. Okay, hold on a second. Let me do a zoom out because this view is not letting me see the next slide. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. So MTHFR, genetic polymorphism. Okay, so this is a gene that codes for the enzyme. Should have practiced this. Methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase, so we know that's an enzyme, that converts the 510 MTHF into 5-MTHF. So that is the folate or the B9. And it processing the amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. It then donates a methyl group for the conversion of homocysteine into methanione, which is a good thing, right? Methanione is an amino acid used in cellular DNA function. Most common sources are meat, eggs, fish. There's other protein sources that also are other protein sources like plant sources that have some. Those have the highest amounts in it. Patients with inhibited or absent MTHFR expression result in decreased levels of the folate vitamin B9. Evidence by elevated levels of homocysteine. So this is something that drove me crazy whenever I was in conventional medicine, and they'd be like, "Oh, the homocysteine, like you got to care about that." I'm like, "But what do I do with it?" Right now, I know what I can do with it. Like test them for this. But conventional medicine, strangely enough, doesn't even like focus on this at all. At least not that I know. Not the last I've done any kind of continuing education. Maybe they will this month or next month. They're going to be. I'm gonna be there teaching about it. So it subsequently results in decreased level of serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Which we probably won't have time to get into that. But if I had, if I was going to find that slide for you, there's also a huge assimilation between depression and B12, right? So it leads to negative effects of neuro and vascular pathways. Screening in primary care setting is now being recommended and supported by LabCorp. Okay, so these are the L's and all this stuff. I'm not going to go too much into this because we're going a little bit over. But essentially, remember that T is trouble. So the alleles that have double T, those are the polymorphisms that are worse. So I think I have a slide that tells how much, but it's usually around 70%. Here we go. So CC is normal. That means that 100% enzyme activity, normal folate metabolism, and normal homocysteine levels. CT is heterozygous. That means they have one copy of the mutation, and they're going to have a mild reduction. So their enzyme still works at 65%, meaning that they have about 30 to 40% decreased absorption. But if they're homozygous, it comes back TT, then that means they have the double of the mutation and their enzyme only works at 30%. This is about 10 to 15% in the European and American populations. I do apologize if I'm wrong with this. I believe it's Asians have the highest. I could be wrong. I shouldn't even say that because I'm not sure. Maybe South America. I don't remember for sure. But there's a population. I should have that on here. And I'm going to add that on here. A population that has a higher percent. It's more like 40%. So about 1 in 10 of your patients are going to have this. One of the biggest like kind of hallmark signs that you need to test for this is if somebody says that they flush a lot. This is a very like people that are like they just heat will hit them, or like they'll turn on the AC, or the heat, that air blowing on them will make them flush and they'll kind of like break out in patches. They'll usually have insomnia. They'll usually have like a restless leg. The flushing is a big thing, and food will also be a huge trigger for them. Avocados, asparagus. I need to add all this in here. I don't know why. That's why I'm like, I need to get these slides done like by tomorrow. And there's just so much, like, it's so hard to put functional medicine into one little pretty box. There's so much. It all relates. But there's a lot of stuff. You can look for like high histamine foods, and there's a whole list of them. But those are some of the big common ones. And wine. If they flush with wine, that's a red flag. Okay. So here are some slides that I made. And you can see it's not as clear as I would like it to be. So I'll probably have to edit this a little bit. But you can see like here's the normal folate metabolism, and that B12 is there. So then they can continue with the conversion, right? And the homocysteine is turned. But there's folate, there's the B6, the B3. Leucine, that's what the eggs are for. I need to probably make it a little bit clearer. But whenever that MTHFR enzyme is not working because the alleles are there to blocking it, not allowing it to happen, then we don't end up with the B12 there, and then they can't make, like, everything stops, right? And then if you look down here, the L-methylfolate, depression and anxiety is also very common. Right? So this might be a cause of the anxiety, depression. It might be gut health, right? Like me, my issue was my gut. That's why I was like crazy anxious, crazy depressed. There's probably more than one thing going on too. I mean, like I stopped with birth control and stuff like that, but I stopped birth control before I did all testing and stuff like that. But my main issue was gut health, which, by the way, long-term birth control is also known to increase leaky gut, so it all related, um, which also relates to just messing with your hormones in general. But trying to stay focused on this, you can see if you look down here, like what's one of the last things down here? Norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, 5-HT serotonin. We have anxiety, we have depression, we have lack of focus, we have lack of drive, we have all of those things. So about 1 in 10 in America, they're suffering from this and they're not even getting tested for it at all. So that is pretty much just repeating what I've already said. So causes of B12 deficiency themselves, like other things to be thinking about, because I skipped the slide on this, but we know from Zara told us, B12 increases our risk for depression. Obviously bariatric surgery, so that's something that's going to be at risk. Gluten intolerance is suspected to be a factor. Pernicious anemia. So pernicious anemia, I know most of you already know this. Autoimmune disease, increased risk, but also increased risk with age. Our stomach makes less of it. Metformin decreases B12. You should always be checking your B12 on all of your diabetic patients that are on metformin. PPIs, the protein pump inhibitors, and also the H2 blockers. Both of those are antacid. Dietary deficiency of tea toast. And then, I'm sorry, Alina, but vegans are at increased risk. I love you, girl. But I know you take your B12.
I do. Yeah.
I know you do. I know you do. Alcohol abuse. Oh, I've already said that. I should probably put pernicious anemia up there. Raynaud's, yeah. Well, Raynaud's is an autoimmune, so yes, could be. Yes. There is a higher risk of autoimmune with this too. There is a higher association between them. Yeah. So I'm not going to read this to you. You can screenshot it if you want, but probably most people kind of already know like what your replacement for B12 is. But B12 supplementation, then obviously if somebody has the genetic polymorphism, then you can increase that accordingly to that. Zinc deficiency. So just, I have a slide on this somewhere, but zinc is needed, the coefficient to make GABA. So somebody who can't sleep, they have more anxiety, those type of things. You might also be looking for zinc deficiency. B3, niacin, we've already spoke about that. Some of the stuff it's kind of repetitive, so I need to take it out. It's really funny. So I added this in here. I probably won't go into it in my main speech, but it's so funny because people like, you'll see like, oh, the toxic exposures of people having like too much niacin, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, for sure, one death, you want to take that serious. But out of, you do need to monitor toxicity, QT prolongation. So getting, if you're going to start somebody on a lot of niacin, yeah, go ahead and get an EKG, or, if you are working as a coach, collaborating with their provider and making sure that, they're not at risk for a QT prolongation. Obviously, you're not going to read that even if you're a practitioner working as a coach or the holistic natural licensure, you're not going to be interpreting that yourself, but you're going to be getting, knowing and checking that they're on, like, check this with, like, giving them directions, check this with your provider that you do not have QT prolongation, can become hepatotoxic. So making sure that they don't have any kind of liver damage, their liver functions are good. Monitor toxicity, sorry, it's rare. Like, it is really rare. So out of this, like, there's 792 exposures. All of these are 792, not 792 people who used the niacin, but 792 exposures who were, who had too much, right? Where like they had accidentally received or purposely received a toxic dose of it, or like children, that was a large part of it. 240 of them actually were 5 or less. So 227 were treated in hospital, 71 without any problems, 255 with minor toxicity, 61 with moderate toxicity, 1 significant reaction, and 1 death. So, I mean, just know that it's a risk. You know, there are risks. So how this relates specifically to the gut-brain axis, Bacteria fragilis, Proteola, Copria, and Ruminococcus lactaris synthesize vitamin B3 through the biosynthesis pathway. So both human and mouse colonic epithelial cells, so cells in the gut, feature a well-developed specific and controlled mechanism for absorbing the B3. Isn't that cool? Vitamin B3 inversely plays a role in supporting the nourishment of local colonocytes and preserving the structure of the intestinal stem cells and overall mental health. There's a direct relationship between the lack of microbiome diversity, meaning not enough good, healthy gut flora, and vitamin B3 deficiency. So you can see how, I hope that I've kind of shared this with you all in this, that the gut axis makes a difference because, did I show y'all the slides on the different, yeah, I did. I showed you the slides, at least some of them, where there are microorganisms that actually make serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, all of that. There's the continuation between that and the vagus nerve and the two communicating. But then also our vitamins are going to make a difference in this. Our vitamins are going to make a difference in this because, one, they're going to not be absorbed well. And then we have side effects from them being low if our guts are wonky. But then also there's the direct relationship between the microbiome diversity and being able to absorb the vitamin B3. Right? So test, don't guess. That's actually like Rupa Health says that because I think like they obviously want us to order more tests because that's how they make their money. It's Rupa testing. But it is a really good thing. And another thing about that is like, and leveraging your programs, you know, you do want to encourage people that, like, you're not getting results because you're just like taking a dart and shooting. Like maybe that's your problem. Maybe it's not. Like we really do need a test to know. And whenever you start practicing doing this, you start narrowing it down. You don't necessarily have to use testing. You can really get to where you don't have to do all the testing and you can save your clients some money, honey. But yeah, but testing's still a good thing. And it also, like, it's a really great thing because whenever you're doing like your Leah system, you're building them up to the high ticket. They really don't know and they really can't go anywhere until they test with you. So and then if you're a coach, you can do collaborations with people, or you can also use the MD with the labs that you can use to do that. Remove the bad, replace the good, fix the gut. Triggers. MSG used to make me horribly anxious. I didn't know what it was for the longest time. I'd go to the buffet, the Asian buffet, and binge because I could have like just chicken and veggies. And I thought I was being healthy and I'd feel like crud every time afterwards. And I found out the average American intake is 3 to 4 grams a day. I hate MSG. It makes me so mad. It alters the gut microbiome. Makes me sick still to this day if I accidentally get a hold of any of it. It's in some seasonings. Buying seasonings. Check your seasonings. Could also be in the seasoning. That's how I've accidentally gotten a hold of it. And yeah, it messes up your gut flora. It screws everything up. And you should not be having it. Children should not be having it. It makes me so mad. There's MSG. Palm oil is another one. So for me personally, my biggest triggers in my IBS, one of the things that I am, which now my gut's healed, so I can get an exposure and I just feel cruddy. I don't go into an IBS flare anymore. Praise the Lord. MSG and then palm oil. Not good. Binders, it's a little bit controversial, but we went over it and I promise y'all we're going to be done soon. Okay, so let me stop share. What questions, like feedback, was that awesome sauce to y'all? I love this stuff.
It's so interesting to me. I love that.
Yay! Woo, woo, woo. Go team go. Alrighty. For those of you not passion profit, like join us. We gonna have fun. We gonna be in Dallas.
Love to have you.
Making some money, honey.
Yes. It really is a great group. I mean,
Yeah.
even if, it doesn't happen often, but if Dr. Lauren is busy and doesn't catch a message, then like the other people in there will just
Mhm.
jump right in and answer questions, and we all just aggressively support each other.
Yeah.
Like we'll comment on each other's posts on Facebook to try to boost the algorithm. Like it's
Mhm.
just a really, really good group that has
Yeah.
honestly changed everything for
No,
me.
it is true. Like the
Yeah.
people in it are incredible. I'm honored that y'all hang with me because it is a really good group of people. And yeah, and we have pretty high retention, to be honest. Like people hang around. I think that's a good indicator. So, all right, y'all. Well, let me know. Robin says she's down for bonus day. Y'all let me know. I don't know. And then if y'all are wanting to jump in, you have until Sunday. You have to either have an appointment made and then you get the $500 off and all of the bonuses. Everything's going to save you thousands of dollars. And don't forget that it's a tax write-off because you investing in your, like all of the things that I have bought, like my first year of business, I didn't have to pay any taxes on anything that I made because I wrote everything off. So maybe even my second year too. But it did start have to pay in now. Whatever. It's okay. It's still more at the end of the day. So, alrighty, y'all. I'm going to go to kick off. Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye, y'all.